Why electrical braking is required? Why not mechanical braking? We know that in the case of mechanical braking, generally the drums will be used. The drums will be closer to block your rotation of your rotor. Whenever suddenly you are blocking it, because so much friction will be produced between your brake shoe and your the tires or your wheels, so it produces so much amount of heat. That is the first disadvantage. So instead of, in order to avoid the heat, you can go for the disc brakes. But disc brake problem is suddenly the brake will be applied, which gives a jerk to your system that may create the problem to the people who are traveling in that. So we can tell that the mechanical braking is not so much efficient because of two reasons. One thing is so much amount of heat is produced, so much wear and tear will be there, so maintenance will be there. And the second one is it may produce the sudden jerk, which may not be convenient for the personnel who are traveling. So in such situations, we prefer to go for the electrical braking. So we can tell that in application requiring the frequent, quick, accurate or rapid emergency stops, we go for the electrical braking. So what are the applications which require this? The application is when a loaded hoist is lowered. So let us assume I have traveling in a lift, the lift that it is getting down. So whenever it is getting down, because if it is suddenly freely dropped, then it will be act like a freely falling body. The acceleration, due to acceleration, the speed will go on increasing. So in order to limit the speed, we can go for the electrical braking. So we can keep the speed in a safe limits so that the person inside will not feel the jerks. Then the mechanical braking is also used along with the electrical braking to ensure the reliable operation, because electrical braking will fail in some cases. Electrical braking fails in some cases. So in those cases, we have to go for the mechanical braking along with the electrical braking. So let us now see what are the different methods of electrical braking. So types of electrical braking. So electrical braking can be divided into different categories. The first one is regenerative braking. And the second is dynamic braking or rheostatic braking. And the third method is plugging or reverse current braking. These are the three generally used braking methods. So let us see each one of them in detail now. First, I am starting with regenerative braking. The name itself is telling it is regenerating. That means it is supplying the power back to the supply. So where this is used? So in this braking, the kinetic energy of the motor and its associated equipment is returned to the power supply. Return to the supply system. Okay. When this is possible, we know the armature current IA is equal to V minus EB divided by RA. Let us take for example the shunt motor, because it will be easy to analyze. Then I will go for the series motor. So this is my supply voltage. So there will be a back EMF induced in this, which is opposing the main voltage. So the armature current IA will be equal to V minus EB by RA. So this current is taken from the supply. The load current is coming from here. Out of this will divide ISH and IL. So in order to supply back, the direction of the armature current should be reversed. When it can be reversed? When the value of your EB is greater than V. We know the value of EB is equal to 5ZN by 60 into P by A. So I have to keep it in such a way it can reproduce, because once the machine is desired, P and A are constant, Z is constant, 60 is constant. So we can tell that this EB is proportional to flux into speed. So either you have to control the flux or you have to control your speed. Depending on what you are controlling, there are two ways of controlling this. First one, let us assume I am controlling using the speed. So when the speed will be greater than the rated speed? The speed will be greater than the rated speed when you are coming from a higher altitude to a lower altitude. Like for example, a train is getting down from a hill. So there it is descending. So whenever it is descending, the acceleration will be there, the speed will be above normal speed. Same thing is the case for a lift which is coming down from the top floor to the ground floor. In that case also it is descending. In those cases the speed is greater than the normal speed. So in that cases the back EMF produced will be greater than your supply voltage. So it can supply your energy back. So the first case is using the speed. So let us see using speed what is there. So the speed is greater than your no load speed and flux phi is constant. So automatically we can tell that IA is negative, so it will supply back. But there is a disadvantage. When your speed reaches your normal or the rated speed, then your EB will be less than your supply voltage. So it cannot act as a generator. So that is the disadvantage. You cannot control the speed less than the rated speed. Only above the rated speed you can control the speed. What amount of speed you want to limit it. That is the advantage. The power will be supplied back. This is the second one. So now going to the second one. Second one, by controlling the flux. So if you are controlling the flux, we know EB is proportional to flux into N. We know as your regenerative braking is applied, as the braking is applied, the speed will go on decaying. So you should control in such a way the flux will go on increasing as the speed is decreasing. That means whatever is the rate at which the speed is decreasing, at that rate you have to increase the flux. But the problem is there is a limit up to which you can control your flux. The reason is as IF is increased, we have seen that it will be linear up to certain range. After that your flux goes to saturation. Once it goes to saturation, the flux cannot be increased. Only within this linear range, you can control the field in such a way as the speed is decaying, flux is increasing. So EB can be maintained nearly constant and EB is greater than V. So automatically you can get the regenerative braking. The advantage of this method is this method can be used for braking up to a speeds lower than the rated speed, because you are controlling the field. So in this case the field will be separately excited and the field will be controlled using separate excitation. That means in this case the field will be separately excited and this will be your armature. The armature will be connected to your supply. Because this EB will be greater than V, so armature current will come out. Okay, this is what is done. So value of IF is controlled. So one thing you have to remember here, it is most useful in holding a descending load. Holding a descending load of high potential energy at a constant speed. Because whenever anything is descending from the higher altitude, the speed will go on increasing. This can limit the speed and maintain the speed at a constant speed, so that the people who are traveling will not experience any type of jerks. Okay, so where it is used? So it is used to control the speed of electric locomotives, then elevators, cranes and hoists. In these applications you can use it. So one thing you have to remember here, I already told, the regenerative braking, the braking torque will be produced until your speed reaches the rated speed. So below that regenerative braking is not possible, or we can tell that using regenerative braking we cannot stop your motor. Only it will come up to your rated speed, then you have to go for the mechanical brakes, because this is not possible. So that's why this is used for controlling only the speed above the no load speed for descending loads only, and regenerative braking cannot be used for stopping your motor. So that is the disadvantage of regenerative braking. So let us see the regenerative braking for the case of series motor. In the case of series motor, this is my field, this is my armature, so this is the current. So this current, the ISC will pass like this. This is my back EMF, this is my supply voltage. So in order to produce the regenerative braking, first thing we have to maintain the direction of the current in the field should not change, but this EB should be greater than V. because EB depends on the flux and the speed. When the speed is greater than, then automatically this EB can be more. But if EB is more, you can see the current direction will be reversed. When the current direction is reversed, your field direction will also reverse. So again it will start acting as a motor. So the series motor cannot be directly used for regenerative braking. I am repeating once again. For regenerative braking, we know that in a series motor, the current direction is like this initially. But when EB is greater than V, the current direction gets reversed because this is at a higher potential than your supply voltage. So when the current direction is reversed, the flux direction will be reversed in your field. So that's why regenerative braking cannot be directly applied to your series motor. So the better solution is you just connect your armature to the supply and your field, because we know the series field resistance is very less. So we connect in series with some variable load and this will be connected to a separate DC supply. This will be connected to a separate DC supply with a current limiting resistor. So resistor R is used. This is used for limiting the current. So using this, the direction of the field or the direction of the armature flux can be maintained constant. So automatically if EB is greater than V, automatically the motor will start supplying back or pumping back the power to your supply. So this is what is done in regenerative braking. So I am just summarizing. So regenerative braking is used to control the speed above the rated speed, but it cannot be used for braking your machine. For applying the regenerative braking in shunt motor, it is easy only. But when coming to the series motor, if the field direction is reversed, it will again start acting as a motor. So in order to get the torque in the opposite direction or the braking torque, you have to separate your field and connect it like a separately excited machine, where because the series field resistance is less, you have to connect some resistor in series and then it will start acting as a generator. So remaining principle will be same like the shunt machine we have discussed before. Now let us go to the second technique, that is rheostatic or dynamic braking. So the name itself is telling the rheostat. Rheostat means one resistance is connected. Dynamic indicates it stops at a faster rate. We can control the rate at which it will descend. So for this what we will do, if you take for the case of shunt motor, so let us start with the shunt motor, then you will go for a series motor. We know the shunt motor will be connected like this initially, because this is my motor. So this is my voltage, this is the current, this is my armature current, and this is my shunt field current, and EG is generated here. This EG will oppose it. So now in order to produce the this rheostatic or dynamic braking, the field is only connected to your supply. So this supplies your ISH and the armature is disconnected from your supply. This armature is disconnected. So this armature is connected through a resistor. So EB is like this. So automatically the current direction will reverse. This is my armature current. It will pass through the resistor. So automatically there will be IA square R drop or IA square R loss. Because of the loss, the braking will be applied on the motor. So automatically the motor will stop. How to control the braking effect? This braking effect can be controlled by using this resistor. Let us see how it can control the braking effect. So let us try to derive the equation so that the concepts will be clear to you. So now first I am drawing the armature current. Armature current will be equal to, under braking condition, EB divided by R plus RA. RA is the armature resistance, R plus RA. So this EB is equal to 5Z done by 60 into P by A divided by R plus RA. So in this other things are constant, K into 5 into N divided by R plus RA. I can write like this. So if I want to calculate the torque we have derived previously 0.159 5ZIA into P by A. So in this you can substitute the value of IA. So this will be equal to 0.159 5Z into P by A. The value of IA is K into 5 into N divided by R plus RA. Okay, if you calculate this I can write as some constant K2 multiplied by 5 square into N divided by R plus RA. R plus RA. So because as the flux is directly connected to your supply, so the phi is also constant. So I can write that this TB is proportional to the speed divided by R plus RA. So either by controlling the speed, because torque depends on the speed, and torque also depends on what is the value of external distance. So controlling the value of external distance and the speed, you can get your required torque. So if the speed becomes 0, automatically torque becomes equal to 0. So you can see that as the braking start applying, the speed will go on decaying, automatically torque will go on decreasing if you are fixing your resistor. So to counterbalance it, what you have to do, whenever speed is falling down, you have to decrease the value of your series resistor so that the torque is maintained, the braking torque is maintained, and the motor will come back to 0 speed at a faster rate. And as soon as the motor comes to the 0 speed, the motor will automatically stop. The major disadvantage of this method is because this entire power is lost in the form of heat. That is the major disadvantage of this method only. Let us see how to apply this for the case of series motor. So if I take the series motor, we know the series motor field will be like this. So I am just naming them F, FF. This is A. These are the terminals. This is my direction of EB. This is my supply voltage. So because of this, the current will pass like this, armature current. So in this braking system, I want to maintain my flux to be in the same direction in order to aid the residual flux. Flux direction should not change. So these terminals FFF is not changed. One resistor will be connected here. And the armature terminals will be connected like this. Because we know this is the direction of EB, this will be the direction of IA. You can see the direction of IA in previous case and the current case is same. The value of the resistor is varied in such a way that this is my A, this is my AB. You can see here this A is connected to FF now. A is connected to FF now in the case of regenerative braking. So same formula will be there here. This TB is equal to some constant K into phi square into N. We know the flux depends on the current. So this I can write as some K into IA square into N. Current square into N divided by the resistance will add. So in this case the resistance will be equal to R plus RSC plus RA. Only this is the difference. So again same way, whatever the way we have discussed for the shunt machine, in the similar way we can control for the case of rheostatic or dynamic braking. So let us now go to the third method of electrical braking, which is generally used in most other cases. The third braking is plugging or reverse current braking. Plugging or reverse current braking. So where this method is used? This method is used for controlling elevators, rolling mills, printing press, and machine tools. In these applications where you want to stop the machine frequently, wherever you want the intermittent and sudden stoppage of the equipment, then the plugging or reverse current braking is the best out of all the techniques. So in this technique, if you take a shunt machine, the shunt machine terminals, the armature terminals will be reversed. So what we do, the armature terminals are reversed so that V adds to back EMF. Let us see how it will add. So I am taking a shunt machine. So how that will be connected? So we know the shunt machine is generally connected like this. So same thing will be applicable for series. This is A. This is FFF. This is my direction of the armature current. So this is my direction of EB. This is V. Under normal conditions, the current IA is equal to V minus EB by RA. So I want to add to it. How can I add to it? I have to reverse the connection. So for that, what I do in this, the field will be connected in the same way. This armature terminals, whatever are there, the armature terminals will be reversed. So that means this will be connected here, and this will be connected through a resistor, variable resistor to your supply. This is A. This is your F. So this is my direction of EB, and this is my direction of V. You can see here the current that is passing because of V is adding in the direction of EB. So I can write my value of the armature current in this kind of braking is V, and EB is adding to V, so this is V plus EB divided by R plus RA. So this I can write as V by R plus RA plus EB by R plus RA. So I can substitute the value of EB. So this I can write as V by R plus RA plus phi Zn into P by 60A divided by R plus RA. So this I can write as V by R plus RA plus some constant phi K into phi Z by R plus. So Z is also not required, phi into speed n, phi n by R plus R. So now I can calculate my torque. Braking torque is equal to 0.159 phi Z Ia into P by A. So here I can substitute my value of Ia. If you substitute the value of Ia and simplify it, so you will get it as, I am directly writing, you will get in the form some constant K which depends on the flux phi and some another constant which depends on the flux square into speed. I am not simplifying it, you just substitute the value of the current and you will see that the variables will get like this. So we know that in this case the flux phi is constant because it is directly connected to your supply. So automatically this TB will be equal to some constant K4 plus some constant K5 into N. You can see it is having two terms. One is depending on the speed, second one is constant. So when the speed N is equal to 0, then the torque TB will be equal to K4. So in the previous case we have seen it's only depending on the speed. Here one more term K4 is adding. As extra term is adding, so the braking force will be very fast, so it will stop at a faster rate. But the disadvantage is when the speed becomes 0, still the torque is not becoming equal to 0. That means if you take a motor, let us assume it is rotating in clockwise, you apply the braking. So the speed will come to 0, then it will start rotating in the opposite direction. So if it is not, stop. So what we have to do, whenever the supply reaches near to your 0 speed, you have to apply some external braking or disconnect your armature from your supply. Disconnect the armature from the supply. So in that case only it will not go in the reverse direction. Otherwise it can start rotating in the reverse direction. So for that purpose what we will do, we use the centrifugal switches. So I am repeating this again. In this case of plugging or reverse current braking, the direction of the armature is shifted in such a direction that your back EMF will add your supply voltage. So as a result of this, the braking will be very fast. It will have two terms, one constant term and the second term depending on the speed. So because of the constant term, the disadvantage is if the speed reaches the 0, the torque is not becoming 0. So automatically the motor will start rotating in the opposite direction. So in order to stop it from rotating in the reverse direction, so what you have to do, you have to disconnect from the supply. So how to disconnect from the supply? You can use the centrifugal switches. The centrifugal switches will operate if the speed is below some normal speed. Whenever it is reaching near to the 0 speed, the centrifugal switches will apply and it will disconnect it. So this method has only one disadvantage. In this method, the power loss is only both because of the inertia of the machine plus your supply power is also taken as a loss. So the efficiency will be least out of all the braking techniques in this method only. But this is the most efficient method in the sense that it can stop the motor at a faster rate. That's why this method is used in practice.